Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Innovation Week 2025, Top 10 Showcase. My name is Tracy Nyholt, and I'm also an entrepreneur who was on this stage not too long ago with our Top 10 founders. And we're thrilled tonight to have a house full of founders, partners, community members, and investors. I'd like to start off the evening with a land acknowledgement. The Top 10 Showcase acknowledges that our work is carried out on the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda. The City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6, and we are thankful to work and collaborate on these lands. We are proud to have Alberta Innovates as our top 10 presenting sponsor for 2025. Please welcome Senior Vice President of Operations and Chief Operating Officer of Alberta Innovates, Terry Rock. Welcome, Terry. Many of you know Terry when he served as CEO of Platform Calgary for the last 7 years. He's a passionate promoter of Calgary's potential and has an extensive entrepreneurial and strategic background. Welcome, Terry.
Thanks, Tracy. Actually, I need to update my bio. I'm now a passionate promoter of Alberta's potential. Yeah, because Alberta Innovates. That's a fact, right? It's also the name of the organization I work for. It's an organization that's been doing this for over 100 years. Back to 1921, Alberta has been backing the people and the businesses that are making our communities more prosperous and our industries more competitive. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here today. That's why we do that. That's why you, as Alberta taxpayers, invest in innovation through this organization. And so I have a very simple and short message today. Thank you to the top 10 for putting it on the line and making our economies stronger, making our communities more prosperous, and our industries more competitive. I look forward to seeing your presentations and enjoying the week of of Calgary Innovation Week. And I forgot to mention that I'm so glad to be here on the KPMG Pitch Stage. Is he in here? Yeah, he's somewhere. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody. Have a great, fantastic week. Cheers.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Alberta Innovates. Next, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our judges for this evening. Our first judge, Sarah, is a portfolio manager at Blue Sky Equities, a leading investment firm specializing in early stage technology. She joined the team in 2017 and currently manages a diverse portfolio of startups containing over 100 positions. She plays a key role in sourcing, evaluating, and managing investments across the venture portfolio while developing investment strategies. Her work is driven by a commitment to identifying transformative opportunities and fostering growth in a dynamic sector. Our second judge, Nicole Schukohl-Place, as Vice President and Stakeholder Relations and Communications at Alberta Innovates. Nicole leads strategy, partnerships, and ecosystem engagement across the province's innovation landscape. She works closely with founders, investors, industry, and government to strengthen Alberta's position as a hub for emerging technologies and entrepreneurial growth. And finally, Patrick Lohr. Patrick is a partner at Pananche Ventures, an early-stage technology venture capital firm with over 150 million assets under management. As a mentor, he was recognized by UBC's Creative Destruction Lab and with their Associate of the Year Award, and is a distinguished graduate of the Hacksane School of Business. But now, it's time for the top 10 to take the stage. So each founder will have 5 minutes total, 3 minutes to pitch their company, followed by 2 minutes of questions from our esteemed judging panel. Kicking off, we have Taste of the City with the one and only Joanna Parso. Welcome, Joanne.
Which one is mine queued up? My pitch? All right. Taste the City. Local restaurants are always asking, how do I attract new customers? And cities are always asking, how do we get people to explore? And yet the age-old question is, where do I go and what do I eat? Enter Taste the City. We send reservations to local restaurants. We motivate locals and tourists to explore cities. How it works, you simply pick your neighborhood, pick your start time, and as soon as you pay, you get a text message on where to go. You show up at the restaurant, say you're with Taste the City, you brought a menu item, and then after about 30 minutes, you receive a text message on where to go next. Everything is prepaid and pre-gratuity, so you simply up and walk to your next spot. It's all a mystery. You don't know where you're going or what you're going to be tasting, and we take all your dietary restrictions into consideration ahead of time. You're going to visit 3 to 5 restaurants, all within walking distance. Your current options out there are you could go to one restaurant for the night, hope you pick the right one. You could go on a food tour where you're going to be with a group, with a guide. You're going to probably be in the afternoon, and it'll be about $125 plus. Or you can try and set it up on your own. But this requires planning, the prepayment with the restaurants, and you're probably not going to get that turnover time. We've created a convenience that doesn't exist. We have a sustainable business model wherein we're free for the restaurants. We have a 44% margin on our product, and we're 32% cheaper than a standard food tour. We have 10x'd our $25,000 MVP in our first year. Can I get a heck yes from the back? We've seen 3,500 tasters come from local suburbs to walk around their urban spaces in their downtowns, creating street vibrancy, and we've scaled to 7 cities across Canada, bootstrapped with our original MVP. We're creative founders, we're cultural trendsetters. People love working with us, and more importantly, love buying our products. And we've seen this through our social media views, where we've garnered over 20 million views on our content, and we're set to air on Dragon's Den on November 13th. So how we differ, we remove that physical guide, which allows us to be 30% cheaper, creating more access for people to explore local restaurants. And no one is effectively championing the field of digital guidance, and we have a captive audience. So how we grow. As soon as we have 3 to 4 restaurants within walking distance, we simply build a route, and I can operate there tomorrow. So in our first year, our goal is to build as many routes as possible, and then when we even see slow growth in those areas, we get that hockey stick effect, where we then aim to be sold or acquired. So we're airing on November 13th. We're still operating on that $25,000 original MVP, so we definitely need some updates on the UX design and automation, and then we need to expand and market to routes globally. So, who wants to go on a tasting? Questions? Everyone's just hungry now. They're all like thinking of their favorite restaurant usually to advise me.
Does this work?
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, thank you so much. It was a great pitch.
Thank you.
I have a question about the competition.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your secret sauce, how hard it is to replicate this software, and are there any competitors in the market?
So currently we don't have any other competitors. Our closest would be like a Get Your Guide or Airbnb experiences, and yet they actually require a physical guide and aren't tapping into the digital guidance component. And we've worked for the last year with our MVP, not only brand building with the Taste the City trademark, but also expanding and building those relationships with restaurants who trust us, and we're really great at marketing, keeping a really great moat for ourselves from another tech company coming in and doing what we do.
Until he comes, you're going to get bootleg Pat Lors. So tell us a little bit about the defensibility. What protects you and versus someone else coming in with more money and just kind of flooding the market?
Honestly, our moat is really in and embedded in that cultural component where we actually, the restaurants want to work with us. They don't actually, when I started selling myself as a tech company to them, they wouldn't open the doors to me. Giving us real estate is because we're focused on promoting them as local restaurants, and we focus on that and keep that as one of our core values, and it makes them want to work with us, and we're really good at marketing, so it makes them want to work with us more.
How do you ensure quality in your restaurants so that people want to continue to come back?
Yeah, we always aim for 4-star plus on Google reviews, make sure the restaurants are really understanding, send through beta tasters, and then we do a survey after every taster goes through, and anytime we get any sort of poor feedback, we relay that back to the restaurant, give them a chance to kind of get updated, but then if not, we have removed restaurants from our tasting before. Oh! I'll answer your question later. You can come find me.
Thank you, Joanna. And how impressive is that we have a local company going on Dragon's Den? Our next presenter is from Tarka Manufacturing. Let's hear it for founder Brett Quigley.
Hi, my name is Brett Quigley, and I'm here today to tell you about Tarka Manufacturing Solutions and the business that we've assembled and de-risked. I'm going to start out today by telling you about one of our clients, Liz. When Liz left the hospital after a spinal cord injury, she had a battle with pressure wounds that lasted about 4.5 years. By the end of that battle, she was isolated, she had open wounds, she had infections, she was stuck in bed, and she couldn't get into her wheelchair for more than an hour at a time. That's when Tarka entered on the scene. We provided her and her therapist with a custom contoured seating system that allowed us to reposition Liz's pelvis and protect her skin. Today, she's back out in the community, living her life on her own terms and having a great time. But the real question about this wasn't how do we just help Liz or how do we help 1 or 2 people. It's how do we get this product out underneath the millions of wheelchair users that exist in the world. Currently today, in today's system, there's a 45-day bottleneck. What happens between the evaluation and the delivery timeline is a minimum of 2 visits and 45 days. This causes problems for the dealers, it causes problems for the clinics that prescribe the equipment. What Tarka does with our sit-to-fit system is we can come in and provide a custom contoured seating system in a single visit, 90 minutes, and you're done. What that allows the dealers to do is actually 3 times their revenue because they're not back working with refits, they're not dealing with redos, they're not dealing with problems with the client. The seating clinics are actually getting the ability to put through more clients. And for the end users, they get the benefit of having a product right away instead of having to wait and suffer through their painful wounds. So who are we? We're industry insiders. Everyone on the team has had at least 15 years experience in the business. We've got 3 exits, and we pretty much know everybody that we need to sell our products to or who we deal with. Where are we at today? Early revenue with WCB Special Needs. That's actually who we met Liz through, as well as a couple of our other clients. We've raised $750,000 in non-dilutive funding. We have an IP filed in US, Canada, and the EU. We've validated our manufacturing platform for scale and production. This is a snapshot of what our market entry plan would look like in the US. Because we're operating in an established industry, there's codes for reimbursement that already exist. We are 510K exempt under the FDA guidelines, so we don't have a huge barrier to entry. And the important part on this slide is the 81% margins. We can operate at 81% margin at the established price point in the market. The market opportunity, really the focus here is the $28 million in 3 years. That represents an 8% share of the market. These are our competitors, and I went too long. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Q&A, sorry. I went over and then I thought I should run.
Thank you, Brett, for the presentation. So I have a question about your manufacturing and distribution plan. So how do you want to manufacture these seats? And it's going to be here, or it's going to be overseas? And how do you want to distribute and go to market?
So part of what we've developed is a proprietary way to make our carbon fiber system. So we make a very lightweight and a very flexible system that allows us to custom contour to people on site. So the plan is, originally we're going to start out with a $500,000 safe. That's going to get us into market in the US. We're going to work with the VA down there to really prove out the product. We're going to come back and raise another $1 million to establish the manufacturing facilities, and hopefully that happens here in Calgary.
Just a little bit on your distribution channel partnerships. Are they going to eat into that 81% margin? What have you thought about that? Like, how does that work? Give us sort of a sense of how that works in terms of you protecting that margin.
Sorry, I blew by that page pretty quickly. If you were looking in the second circle there, there's the distribution costs are actually factored in that. So the 81% is gross margins over top of our cost of goods sold, off of the money that's coming back to Targa.
I think you mentioned you had $30K in recurring revenue. Who are your partners today?
So far, it's been WCB Special Needs and private clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. And I'm sure we all have a Liz in our life, so very important what you do. Now let's dive into the next pitch. I'd like to welcome Tarka Manufacturing and its founder, Brett Quigley.
He just came.
Come back, Brett. Come back. A huge welcome to Symbiotic AI's Arjun Puri.
All right, I'm not Brett. I'm Arjun from Symbiotic AI, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. So, Symbiotic AI is bringing precision and personalization to heart care. By show of hands, how many of you know someone who's had a heart attack? That's not surprising. Heart disease is the leading cause of death worldwide. Every year, 17 million people will die as a result, and in many parts of the world, you'll have to wait 15 weeks just to see a specialist. Even after your diagnosis, more than 1 in 5 treatments have to be repeated or fail. The difference in treatment decisions can mean life and death. But even then, precision treatment selection solutions haven't evolved in decades. That's why we built Revaz AI, a personalized CAD treatment selection tool. Revaz analyzes comprehensive patient data in seconds to provide personalized risk insights. These risk insights and forecasts support cardiologists and clinicians in supporting treatment selection and prioritizing longevity. By choosing treatments that have lower risks of complications, patients can have better health outcomes. Cardiologists can be supported in providing better care to patients and see more patients in their limited time, and we can improve care costs. Our competitors are building clinical decision support solutions, but none of them support treatment selection using precision insights. We use advanced AI architecture and machine learning models that are prioritized for transparency, because transparency matters in healthcare. And because we use fairer algorithms, personalized risk insights, and fairness metrics built into the system, Revaz can even provide more accurate and personalized treatments for women with CAD, which is historically a challenge because women CAD is under-recognized and undertreated. We asked 17 cardiologists globally what they thought of Revaz, and more than 75% agreed that Revaz can improve outcomes for patients. We've raised capital to build our minimum viable product with cardiologists and accelerated its testing with 2 accelerators and our clinical advisory board. We've met the FDA and Health Canada to figure out our evidentiary and regulatory pathway and are protecting our proprietary IP now through trademarks and patents. We've also secured 2 validation pilots with leading hospitals in Ontario and in Alberta to start in 2026. Our target market is hospitals and health systems, and our ideal customers are academic medical centers and cath labs because they tend to prioritize reduced readmissions as well as improve patient outcomes. Cardiologists and heart teams are our end users, and our beachhead markets are aligned with the Medical Device Single Audit Program, which supports clearance in 5 markets through a single audit. Using our approach to market from our validation trials, we will leverage our multi-site evidence to support regulatory clearance, as well as build adoption evidence for ultimately scaling our launch across our MDSAP beachhead markets. Rivaz uses a software as a service, pay-per-use business model. Customers pay a one-time implementation cost and then move on to starting. Thank you for your time. Asking for intros to angel investors and cardiologists. Scan our QR code. Feel free to ask me questions. Happy to field.
Thanks, Arjun. I'm trying to understand how the workflow works with Rivaz. So can you just provide a use case how patients and the physician can take benefit from the software and how it's going to work between these two groups?
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine you show up to the hospital with symptoms of a heart attack. You'll likely get blood work and an ECG performed. At the same time, Rivaz AI starts working in the background, hunting for data across different clinical information systems and aggregating it for analysis. As soon as you go in for a diagnostic catheterization or an angiogram, there's a best practice advisory that fires for the clinician and gives them personalized treatment insights all the way from 90 days to out to 5 years about what might happen to a patient given one treatment option. Then using those insights, they can counsel the patient, have discussions about their goals of care, and prioritize treatments that offer longevity and reduce future likelihood of heart attacks, heart failure, and mortality.
You indexed on the treatment selection, I think, being a key competitive advantage. Can you tell us, who is this for? Is this for the patient who decides it? Is it for the clinician who decides it? And kind of give me a sense of if the user is the same person as the customer.
Excellent question. Our users are not the same as our customers. Our customers are those hospitals and health systems, and our end users are those cardiologists. But in order to provide the benefits to our patients, who are the ultimate beneficiaries, the interventional cardiologists and other cardiologists are the gatekeepers. So we need to make sure that what we build ultimately supports their decision making, as well as improves throughput and allows them to see more patients. And that's exactly how we've built the product. So Rivaz accelerates reporting for clinicians by automatically generating reports and supporting discussions with those patients so that you can prioritize those longevity-based treatment options.
Oh, I know you didn't get to it. Can you quickly run us through your revenue model?
Yes, so pay-per-use based on prepaid licenses, forecasted volumes from last year. Those licenses are discounted. There's a one-time implementation fee. After that implementation fee, if you choose not to go the pay-per-use prepaid route, you can use pay-on-demand models, and starting at $200 per patient.
Thank you, Arjun. And who doesn't want better health outcomes? Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage the founder of Possibility Neurotechnologies, Dion Kelly.
I'm Dion with Possibility Neurotechnologies, and we're empowering interaction through thought. Imagine being told your child will never walk, they'll never talk, they'll never be able to do anything independently. That's what Claire's mom heard over and over again. She felt completely helpless. Imagine finding a device that could improve your child's ability to interact with the world. But after months of wait lists and assessments to try to get insurance coverage, you hear it's $15,000 out of pocket. That's the reality for 60 million people like Claire. Only 2% ever get access. The biggest barrier is reimbursement. That's why we created Think to Switch, which is like Siri for your thoughts. Claire can wear an off-the-shelf brain-sensing headset, and her brain signals are decoded by Think to Switch software, translating them into controls so Claire can drive her car, she can create art, she can blend her food, all by herself using her thoughts. Brain implants, eye gaze devices, and clinical neurotech are potential options for people with limited mobility and speech, but they're unaffordable, inaccessible, and they're not available for use today. With Think to Switch, anyone can order a headset online right now. We can give you access to our app, and you can start using it right away. Think to Switch has already been used by over 100 families across 20 clinical sites, has secured over $5 million in research and commercialization funding, and we're present in 6 countries. We're starting with kids who need it most, like Claire, whose parents have waited years for a breakthrough. But we're building for all children, because with Think to Switch, interaction is like magic, and what kid doesn't want to experience that? We're reaching beyond the assistive tech market, going towards the $100 billion kids toy and tech market. We're launching through trusted clinics and disability organizations who already support high-need families like Claire's so that parents can have the opportunity to try the technology. We'll then scale direct-to-consumer through play and social stories to reach children of all abilities. Right now, we earn revenue through a subscription model with tiers from $350 to $5,000 per year and headset commissions. But as we grow, we'll launch our own hardware sales and accessories. With 87% margins, we're set to reach break even with under 3 years post-launch and net profits of $20 million by 2030. With over 100 years of combined experience across pediatrics, neurology, engineering, and consumer tech, we're uniquely positioned to bring this forward. We're inviting partners who believe in possibility, philanthropists who want to fund life-changing tech, opportunities for families to experience the magic firsthand, and marketing experts to help us share our stories. Because with possibility, there's hope.
Thank you so much. It was a great pitch. Can you talk about the clinical validation and regulatory approval, or if there is any?
Yeah, so we're actually positioning our platform as a consumer technology. So we don't have to get medical device approvals, and the only claim that we're making is that it provides a new form of interaction.
Can you talk about what's proprietary about your technology?
Yeah, so our IP really lies in the trade secrets on the machine learning algorithms. We've had access to the only large-scale data set of children with unique brains who have used our technology, and so we're developing our algorithms based on these very unique data sets and expanding them so that they can be used by everyone.
If you look at your competitors, how are they doing versus your results versus their results?
Yeah, so our competitors in the brain-computer interface space are mainly focused on developing the hardware, whereas we are focused on developing a software platform that allows people to use all of these different hardwares, so we're hardware agnostic, to be able to turn things into brain-controlled systems. So yeah, focused on the software.
I might have one more follow-up. So compare your software against their software. Do you have a distinct advantage over their software, or do you have a sense of what their software does versus yours?
Yeah, actually, most of them don't have user-facing software, like Neuralink and BlackRock Neurotech. They're all focused on the hardware, and so most of their patients will go in and try this out and be able to do stuff in lab, and then they'll leave and they won't be able to do anything at all. So they're actually looking at using our software potentially.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion, for making this important technology accessible. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage the founder of Tutored, Mo Fella.
If you've ever had to cram before the do or die exam, you know the feeling. For me, that was at midnight before an 8 a.m. calc final with no help in sight. In that moment, we started building Tutored. Building to make learning instant. But as we spoke to more users, we found that tutors are also struggling. My name is Mo, and this is why my team and I built Tutored, the AI learning platform that helps tutors teach better so students never fall behind. Right now, tutors lose up to 70% of their income on other platforms. Onboarding can take forever, and they lose unpaid hours every week on teaching overhead and lesson prep. With Tutored, you can connect to a tutor instantly alongside our live AI co-tutor we call Luna. Luna listens to a live lesson and generates interactive problems, examples, and even visuals based on what's being taught in real time. Outside of lessons, Luna builds learning profiles for each student to personalize every interaction at scale. Luna also generates lesson plans along with homework and quizzes, saving hours a week so tutors can focus on what matters most, teaching. And with instant onboarding and the lowest fees, tutors earn faster and keep more of what they earn. Unlike other platforms, we're built from the ground up with AI at the core. Our differentiator is an AI-native tech stack with enforceable IP, but our real moat is stickiness and a compounding data edge. Once you start, leaving means losing the entire record of your learning journey. It would be like switching doctors without your medical history. Personalization only gets better, so switching costs are a lot higher over time. We have a pending LOI with one university and ran a partner pilot that drove 21,000 tutor bookings in 4 weeks, worth over $1 million USD in projected transaction volume. And in just 10 days, we've grown 2,200 users post-beta with an acquisition cost of 50 cents a user. We've also raised $320K total funding. Private tutoring is a soon-to-be $172 billion market, growing 15% a year. We plan to reach 500,000 tutors across Canada and the US through automated outreach, build an on-campus presence through ambassadors, along with partnerships and targeted ad spend. We make money in 3 ways: a 10% commission fee, a $15 a month AI subscription, and API and data licensing, so we're both B2C and B2B. Now let's talk about team. So I'm a second-time founder with a prior exit. Are you up? Okay. My CTO, Adam. So we're on a mission to redefine online learning, and if that vision excites you, let's connect. Yeah, I saw your hands move, so I was like, it's coming.
Hey Mo, can you talk about your previous exit, what you learned from it, and what you're going to do differently this time?
Yeah, so it wasn't in tech. It was a service-based venture. It was a security company, so a little different. But I would say a lot of, I guess, I would say it gave a very sobering perspective on the bandwidth requirements, you know, for building a business in general. Yeah.
How do you want to compete with AI? So do you think AI and ChatGPT, all the platform out there, could be a potential competitor for you? I've seen a lot of people just learning stuff through these platforms.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a very, common concern. My rebuttal to that would be that a lot of students struggle with self-guided learning, right? Even using AI requires independence when it comes to the learning process. The partnership that we have with this other edtech startup that I mentioned, they're called Pensium, they actually approached us for a partnership on the basis that they identified 70% of their user base struggled with self-guided learning. And they're purely like an AI study guide that's basically selling exclusively to students. Yeah.
And I think we're wrapping up, but can you talk a little bit about how you would kind of address what she was talking about? How do you match tutors and students?
Yeah, so we give, in the current form of the product, we give autonomy for students and parents to do that themselves, right? So they have transparency to see various tutors' profiles based on various filters they can select for, yeah.
Thanks, Mo, and don't we all wish we knew about Tutor during the teacher strike? Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage the founder of Day Photonics, Jonathan Danther. Danther.
Hi everyone, so I'm Jonathan Dadner, founder of Day Photonics. I've been in the photonics world for about 15 years now, still trying to finish my PhD. But I'll be talking about building the future of laser technology here in Calgary. So a bit about the photonics market. It's a big market. It's $800 billion and growing at 5%. Really spans across consumer, telecom, defense, biomedical. It's used every day. If you think about all the internet you get to your house, it's all photonics, fiber optic lines, imaging, medical. So a lot of different industries, and it plays a lot of different roles. So here's a common theme. We go around, we talk to customers, and they basically tell us, we've been looking for a long time for a light source that can do X, Y, Z. I'll talk about what X, Y, Z means, and it just doesn't exist in the market. So we come to them and we tell them, this is our secret sauce. We got lasers, and we add crystals to it. Now these aren't the crystals that kind of, your wife spreads around the house. These are a bit more fancy crystals, and it's kind of a lot of capabilities of what these crystals can do. It's kind of pretty amazing, actually. So about us, so we solve some of the toughest laser challenges for global companies. We're really focused on 3 sectors right now: defense tech, 1.3 global market for us for light sources in the defense area, semiconductor inspection. So these guys make sure that you get your iPhones and the chips work pretty well. So a lot of metrology inspection goes into that, and photonics plays a big role in making sure that all these transistors work properly and the yields are up and the phones are all working. So that's about a $300 million market for us to address in that area. And OCT, you go to the eye doctor, he scans your eye and kind of tells you if you've got any diseases. That's as well a market for us, about $250 million. So we're focused around these markets. A bit of traction for our company. 2023, we started with the semiconductor inspection. They gave us some money to build some prototypes. We're working on those things. 2024, we started getting some defense contracts for prototyping in the US and Israel, worked on those, and then 2025 we got our kind of big traction where some of these, it's really going through prototypes to get the product validated into market, and they've placed their first order for $500,000, and it's about a 20-year contract for $25 million. And in the pipeline we've got about these 6 companies worth about $7.5 million if we execute properly in all of these products. So why we win? So I talked about the XYZ, that's brightness, spectral coverage. You can think about how powerful the light is, what kind of colors it covers, the speed that you can modulate in. So form factor, really, there's a lot of companies who build lasers, a lot of companies who build crystals. We're kind of the only unique company that's taking lasers and crystals together and getting all this extra amazing stuff. There are some companies that are building kind of lasers and crystals together, but typically they're big boxes meant for research and for the lab. A bit about our team. So I'm a second-time founder. 50 years of combined experience in the photonics space. We have a track record of a lot of designs, awards, patents, and stuff like that. It's our team. We've got Henry. He makes everyone happy in the office. And really, it's global reach. Our distributors play a key role in getting us in front of these customers so we can talk to them, see these problems in Israel, US. So, thank you. So over $2 million. You can reach out to us. Questions? Yeah.
Where are you in your fundraising journey right now?
We're talking to some investors, getting some good initial traction. I actually got a meeting down in Orlando with a US investor that's pretty interested, so meeting him in person in a nice golf course tomorrow, actually. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Going well.
I'm curious, I didn't see Canada in your list of countries. Are you planning to expand into Canada? Is there a market here?
Well, we're based in Calgary, market-wise. It's been very limited. There's a bit of like photonic one-off stuff. We're trying to get into the defense space in Canada, but we're not really seeing a lot of traction in like the high-tech light sources and things that we do here. So really been getting more traction in the US and Israel, but we're trying to attempt to get more primes in Canada to adopt our stuff. And it looks like there's a big push to defense tech, so we'll see where that goes.
I see a very diverse sector in your pitch deck. Are you going to focus on all 3, or is there any
so
initial market?
There's a lot of other markets
sector?
that we can go, but we're really focused on those 3. It's the same product. It's just a different flavor, so it's really the same product that goes to all these different sectors, and it's a bit of like tweaking what this customer needs and what that customer needs. But those are all 3 areas that we got a lot of traction in right now, so we're just continuing to build on that traction. Very customer focused. They drive us to what we build and develop the product for them. And we got other products in the market as well that we do sell.
Can you talk about your sales cycle?
So that really changes. Some of these defense guys, they take a long time. We meet them. It takes 9 months for them to initially place the order for the prototypes, and then we have to get it validated through them. So they go through a whole process of making sure the product works in the environment. And that's the key, is to get to that point where you're validated, and then it's in their systems. It's in there for a long time. Like these guys, once it's in, they don't like to change. So like we got a 20-year contract with one of the defense contractors in the US is just going to keep on coming every year. So our key is to get through prototyping, to get it like validated in their application.
Jonathan, talk about your current contract and tell us what your customer is looking for.
Different customers looking for different things. So one contract, we supply a laser, kind of custom package we have to do for them, very small, and they just like it. It works for them. They keep on ordering from us. Some other customers, we have to work on more complex problems and solve that. Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. And if Dr. Evil calls up to invest in your lasers and crystals, make sure you say no. Next up, we have Patabid and their founder, Melvin Newman.
Break a leg, is that a threat? Awesome. Time is of the essence in construction in every step of the way for cost estimation through to final build. Our focus is on the cost estimation side of things. So we specifically focus on the complex mechanical, electrical, plumbing trades. Basically everything, if you look up here, that you see in the ceiling, there is at least 1 to more likely 20 people who have counted the same thing over and over again. So our platform addresses this need through automation, through AI, through integrations with suppliers. It takes a contractor 4 to 5 days to put together a bid. It's extremely time consuming. 60 to 70% of that time is spent counting widgets on the drawing, and then the rest is collecting pricing. Our solution, we basically ingest the information for the different projects, the construction drawings, those pieces. Using the tools built into the platform, the contractor then performs a takeoff and does a very highly detailed bill of materials down to the nuts, bolts, and screws for everything that they are going to install. We are a SaaS business model. We are cloud native. There's nothing that the contractors need to install to operate this, which, being a non-highly technical field, this has been a major asset with our clients, being able to just sign up and go. Our competition. So we have 3 major competitors, big ones, Trimble, McCormick. They are legacy platforms built on technology from the 80s. Stack is a cloud native one, but they do not focus on the mechanical, electrical contractors. We have fielded over $687 million in estimates to date. The platform was released in March of 2022. 500 million of that has been in the last 12 months. We have scaled into a number of major enterprises. Our global reach, we have clients now in New Zealand, in Ireland, in the US, and here in Canada. Our projections, we are looking in the next year to pass $1 million and bring in more channel partners into the platform. Our current funding, we most recently closed in the last couple weeks here, a $250,000 USD angel round. Interestingly enough, it actually came from a client who was so impressed with the platform, they want in on it. We are developing a comprehensive cash deployment strategy right now around a $1.5 million seed round in the next few months here that we'll be going for, essentially to scale the company further globally. I'm Melvin Newman, CEO and founder of Patabid. We have an excellent team, and if you want more information, connect with us. Huge shout out to Alberta Innovates and Platform, by the way. Wouldn't be here without them. That's the woohoo. Go Paula.
Thank you for that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your team and experience in this space?
Yes, so I was a 15-year estimator myself, who finally just got fed up with those legacy tools. I was a huge Trimble user during that time. Ian Patterson, who's our head of training, he was a tradesman, came out of the electrical field, been doing this for 20 plus years now. Ryan is our head of sales, entrepreneur at heart. Emily, who's here with us tonight, is our head of multimedia and amazing genius at SEO.
What are you doing about technology integrations with other platforms?
So the platform is cloud native. So we can actually integrate with literally anything out there. One of our key technical advantages is direct integrations with suppliers' ERP systems. So we can provide real-time, up-to-the-minute pricing on all the commodity materials out there in their bid, which is proven to actually be more valuable than the AI to our clients.
What are
because
the
of all
top three
chaos.
platforms that you would integrate with, and maybe tell us why for one of them?
Mostly on the execution side of things. So like a jobber, those sort of things, who don't address the complexities of these kind of projects at an estimating stage, but they do the execution side very well. Another one being Procore, same sort of situation. They do execution very well, not on the estimating. And we've actually been asked by clients to do integrations with those. So that's in our dev cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Melvin. So if you have contractors in your life, be sure to connect them with Petavid. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage the founder of VL Energy, Dora Tomas.
All right, hello. My name is Dora Tamas, and I'm excited to share how we are transforming raw data into meaningful business insights at VL Energy. Emissions monitoring regulations are becoming increasingly stringent, meaning large emitters in industries like oil and gas and power generation are required to continuously monitor their output. This means that the current standard are most often large hardware analyzers, which are extremely costly to purchase and to operate. Other existing hardware solutions for continuous monitoring include drones, cameras, and satellites. However, these are not well structured for quantification of emissions. To address these issues, we have developed an efficient and secure predictive emissions monitoring software, otherwise known as ESPEMS, which is a completely digital solution that allows for monitoring and prediction in real time. We are using AI and ML to take monitoring to the next level. We are built to fully replace these hardware analyzers, and we are the first to receive regulatory approval in Alberta. The ESPEM system measures, monitors, and predicts multiple gases and can be plugged into different combustion equipment to suit any facility's needs. Real-time alerts and predictive capabilities are key features that support operators with optimizing their systems, reducing emissions, and being more effective with their time. Since implementing the ESPEMS technology, our customers have noted the following key benefits, including up to a 20% reduction in utility bills and up to a 70% reduction in OPEX and CAPEX. These are some of our key market validation milestones to date, highlighting our first agriculture customer with a colony outside of Red Deer, our first large contract with Kineticor, which is one of Alberta's largest power generation facilities, and a 20-facility contract with Armada Nolit. Over the next 2 years, we plan to scale our operations across power generation, oil and gas, and agriculture, expanding across Canada and the US. Beyond that, we plan to scale into other regulated countries outside of North America as well. Our team brings extensive experience in heavily regulated industries focused on environmental and safety compliance. And we also bring extensive technical backgrounds in AI, data science, and ML. To support our next steps, we are looking to build strategic partnerships. So if you are interested in updating your hardware to our software solution or know somebody that might be, please connect with us. Thank you.
Thank you, great presentation. What I was expecting to hear was something about MRV in here. Maybe you can, do you do that? Maybe you could explain to the audience what that is.
Yeah, great question. Adam is my co-founder, so yeah, MRV. Can you explain a little bit, Pat?
It's measurement, reporting, and verification, typically used for CO2 tracking, especially if you're putting CO2 credits on the market?
Yeah, great question.
Sure, absolutely. So fundamentally, the use of our platform isn't necessarily for credit generation, although there is a use case for that. The fundamental, call it regulation that we follow is known as the SEMS codes, which is based off the US EPA. US EPA means you need to have a continuous monitoring of your system. Your system needs to go through extensive bias testing to make sure that that prediction aspect is meeting a certain requirement. And then you also have to go through a third-party validation ensuring that your system matches what an actual real-time read from a portable analyzer would kind of look like. So what does the actual hardware analyzer say, and then what does our digital system say, and what's the accuracy to that? And then we need to meet a certain degree of accuracy within that, which is 0.8 relative accuracy.
Are there any direct competitors in your space?
Yeah, absolutely. So the hardware-based systems, as Dora mentioned in the presentation, are typically our direct competitors. However, we see industry giants like ABB, Siemens. They tend to operate in this space as well. But even then, their systems, I'd say, and this is from validation that we've done, talking to various companies where there are competing PEMs in the market, they don't have the AI/ML portion that allows to predict, and their models are fairly immature as well. So even though, and on top of that, they are hardware-based sellers, so their whole business model is built on selling hardware. So it's, yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Dora and Adam, for keeping those emissions low for all of us. Next, I'd like to welcome the founder of HasTrack Inc., Tom McDonald. Welcome, Tom.
So tonight, I'm going to talk about a problem that all of you are contributing to without even knowing it. We're going to talk about how your consumption of French fries is funding organized crime and narcotics trafficking in our communities. Now, it's not the fries themselves that are the problem, but it's the oil that they're cooked in. Because every restaurant in North America takes the oil when they're done cooking and puts it in a container out back. This oil is then collected by very large waste management companies who take it and refine it into biofuels. HasTrack serves these collection companies. We provide them with hardware that reads how full the tank is, software that analyzes the data, and we help them manage their thousands of units in the field. This industry has two major problems. The first is that they collect oil very inefficiently. By having a sensor in every tank, you can collect oil from full tanks only and cut your trips in half in the process. The second and much more unbelievable problem is that $700 million worth of used cooking oil is stolen in North America every single year. This is what grease theft looks like. This is a photo that one of our clients sent us of an active duty ambulance that was stolen by criminal gangs in order to steal used cooking oil. That same customer in a major American city loses a third of their revenue to oil theft. Using our sensors, they were able to cut this theft by 2/3. And if deployed across the company, they would earn an additional $92 million a year. We are the market leader in used cooking oil tank monitoring. Funny how life works out sometimes. In the last 8 weeks, we've added $400K in booked ARR. Our pipeline today has $15 million of qualified ARR opportunities in it. Our business model is very simple. We give devices away for free and charge our customers a small monthly fee per device in the field. We have $50,000 open in our current seed round, but most importantly, I'm here today because we're raising $500,000 in debt financing. We're going to use this money to do three things. We're going to deploy 8,000 units, we're going to get over $1 million in ARR, and we're going to get to default alive. Now, I'm biased, but I think you should invest in us for three reasons. Forgive the formatting on the slide. We have identified a clear market need who is starving for a solution. Our hardware is ready to scale, which means the hard part has been done already. Our Calgary facility can produce 2,000 units a month, and we have an opportunity to win this market outright. This will allow us to provide our investors with a 10x return on their capital invested in this round. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you're enjoying your French fries, I want you to think not of the damage you're doing to your arterial lining, but instead about how Hashtrak's industrial IoT solution is keeping our community safe and fighting organized crime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Can you talk about your industrial partnership and who are the distributors and how do you want to go to market?
So we sell directly to the companies who collect cooking oil from restaurants. They then deploy our sensors using their drivers who are going to those locations anyways. So we are very much going direct to our consumer. The collection company is the one who receives the most benefit from the solution. So the way I would frame it is, imagine you're selling a $10 a month software subscription to every restaurant in North America by distributing to about 200 companies. It simplifies the distribution dramatically.
Tom, great presentation. Wondering if you could project forward 5 or 10 years from now when you're fully built out, what's this company worth?
I would say we could absolutely get to a couple $100 million in market cap. And that is purely driven from the product that we have today and expanding into other geographies. What I would call your attention to is through distributing tank level monitors to collection companies, we have a distribution channel into every restaurant in North America. So any kind of additional products surrounding the management of inventory inside of a restaurant becomes somewhat easy to bolt on to our existing distribution channel.
Real quick, can you speak a little bit about your team and why you're the right ones to do this?
I think we have the best team in the world. My co-founder, Zach, is one of the most elite enterprise salespeople I've ever met. Definitely the most elite, to be clear. Our CTO, Kwani, has spent 15 years building software and firmware systems. We have fantastic people who manage our operations. We've convened an amazing advisory board who helps us kind of navigate strategic challenges. And ultimately, we have built a very lean and very efficient team who can do twice the work of a normal team.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I won't eat my French fries in ignorance anymore. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage the founder of VCore Education, Jason Van Heerden.
Hey, hey, how's everybody doing today? I want a show of hands. How many of you guys have done virtual reality before? Most of you guys have done virtual reality before. We are VCore Education. And there is a problem with education. We have not changed how we do education in almost 100 years. Yes, we've added smart boards, we've added Chromebooks, but we still line students up in rows and we lecture at them with extra technology. 30 years ago, we had an incredible idea, the magic school bus. We said, what if we take our students inside of their education? What if we took them to the moon? What if we took them through the human body? Well, that's exactly what we do with VCore Education. The photo on your left, you will see up to 40 students are all in the same virtual reality education environment together. And on the right, you'll see what they see inside the headset. So that photo, they're inside the International Space Station. Yes, we bring the ISS into schools. You remember that number, or the lectures I was talking to you about? You only retain about 5% of what you learn in a lecture, whereas when you're learning in VR, you retain 75%. VCore has done some really fun stuff. We've built 3 in-house experiences that are over an hour long. One of them we partnered with NASA and the International Space Station to build. We've delivered to over 30,000 students, and we have 4 franchises in North America and 10 licensees outside of America in 6 different countries. Like I said, we partnered with NASA. We also partnered with Lethbridge Polytechnic, which together account for well over $1 million worth of contracts, and some of our clients you may have heard of. Our clients are schools, but our users are students. And there's almost 55 million students in North America alone that would love to learn in a virtual reality educational environment. We are looking to grow over the next couple years. We want to go from 4 to 40 locations franchised in North America and 80 licensed locations around the world. We also need to build more experiences. Our team has a lot of experience with virtual reality. I've been working with it for almost 10 years. Jessica in operations has been with me for about 7 years. And some of our cool shareholders is the former COO of AT&T and Calgary's own CEO of Fabutan. We need your help. If you guys have any connections with teachers, school principals, we're looking for grant funding, and we're also looking for impact angel investors that want to join us on this trip. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Great presentation.
Thank you.
How do you categorize your company? It's a service company or it's a tech company?
It's actually both. So there's two arms of the company. One side builds the field trips, and then the other side is a franchise company that delivers the field trips in schools wherever we are. So in Houston, Dallas, those places we have a franchise that take our software and deliver it in schools.
Why can schools pay for this?
Yes. So we charge per student. It's $25 per student for us to come in, and the experience is just over an hour long where we educate the kids, and we can put through 35 students, 40 students in one session, and up to 5 sessions in one day. So we can do up to 200 students a day.
What's the cost to build the experiences?
It's like asking what's the cost to make a movie. I can tell my kids, hey, I want you to make a movie on YouTube and it would cost me all of 50 cents. Or I could say, what does it cost to make a Marvel movie? Which is obviously a lot more expensive. Ours has ranged anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 to build.
And is the plan, I saw that you were going to build more experiences. Is that to get recurring revenue?
Absolutely, yeah. So we just landed another partnership with Lethbridge Polytechnic, and we're building an experience called A Day in the Life of a Police Officer. And so we will go with police into schools and show students what it's like to be a police officer for a half hour or an hour. And that we're partnering with police stations instead of partnering with schools.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. And how cool is it the local Calgary company has partnered with NASA? It's a pretty big deal. Thank you to all 10 founders. Our judges will now head out to make their decisions. And while we wait for our judges to make the decision in the National Bank Investor Hub, I want to take a minute to let you know that you too can be up on the judging action. Up on the slide, you'll see a QR code for the Community Choice Award. This award is determined by you, our community. So please take a minute to scan the QR code and cast your vote. Now let's acknowledge our award sponsors for this evening. A huge thank you to Mount Royal University Institute for Entrepreneurship for the Alumni Award. Thank you to Black Lion Safety for the Sponsor's Choice Award. And thank you to Zayzoon for the Alex Rajenko Pitch Award. And Neo Financial for the Community Award. So just a reminder, this is your last opportunity for the Community Choice Awards voting. And while the judges are still hard at work, we are happy to introduce a special crew here from the original Innovation Week and launch party to talk about the legacy of this event. I'd like to introduce Jen Lucia to start us off with this portion of the evening. And while Jen's making her way down, let's play a little game. I'd like to say, what do we do in Calgary? And I want you to say, build businesses. Ready? What do we do in Calgary? Build businesses. And when I say, how do we build businesses in Calgary? I'd like you to say, by swinging for the fences. How do we build businesses in Calgary?
By swinging for the fences.
Like the Blue Jays. Welcome, Jen.
Thanks, Tracy. All right. Let's just have one more round of applause for all the top 10. Incredible. Congratulations. Nice work. Whew, incredible, incredible. And so if anyone was here earlier, we were talking a lot about community and the importance of community and how, you know, these things aren't just overnight successes, and startups and founders need people wrapped around them to help them build and advance their businesses. And that community's actually been around a long time in many different forms. And going back 15 years to Startup Calgary and Rainforest, Alberta, where there was some real passionate people that really believed in give before you get mindset and championing collaboration long before this place was here. So this Startup Calgary brand and the legacy of the Top 10 and launch party was actually generously gifted to Platform in 2021 by Calgary Economic Development, and we are very, very proud to be continuing stewards of that brand. And tonight we've got some OGs here that are going to talk. We've got Carrie, Jen, Danielle, Andrew, powerful representatives of that, and super excited to have Alice Reimer, who is an investor, trailblazer, former site lead, CDL, founder of 51, currently scaling her fintech, Philip, to moderate the conversation. So please welcome, come on down.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and actually former board chair of Startup Calgary. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here today and to actually hang out with this OG crew. So I was delighted that I got asked to come and spend a bit of time with you today. And so we're going to go ahead and lead off just with some introductions, and then we're going to have a conversation with some really interesting folks here today. So why don't we start with you, Carrie Gordon? Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you're doing today and your connection to Startup Calgary.
So my name's Carrie Gordon. I'm the Director of Programming at Creative Destruction Lab Rockies out of the University of Calgary. And my connection to Startup Calgary is I am the former Executive Director, and I was hired in 2015, right? Yes, 2015. The team says yes.
Jen.
Hello? Oh, it is.
There we go.
Okay.
Technology.
Technical start here. I'm Jen Del Conte, and I moved to Calgary about 12 years ago, and so my connection to Startup Calgary is really volunteering. Today's day and age, I'm a community and event strategist, and yeah, I've worked with some B2B tech companies. I've worked remotely for the last 6 years, so if you haven't seen me, that's why. And now I'm doing some really exciting stuff with Mount Royal's scale-up community, so with Ray DePaul here.
Andrew.
My name is Andrew Brown. I've been involved in the ecosystem here since 2012. I think originally as a volunteer with Startup Calgary. A guy named Ray DePaul, who's in the audience here from Mount Royal, pulled me in as I think the first or maybe second development director at Startup Calgary. And I've been helping and supporting founders in different capacities ever since, most recently with as part of the co-founding team at Thin Air Labs, which is a venture capital and startup services firm here in Calgary. And keeping busy with a handful of companies now that I'm doing some general advising with.
Awesome. Danielle.
My name is Danielle Torrey. I currently am the head of content for a company called Unbounce. But I joined the Startup Calgary team back in 2015 when I was a student. So joined for the very first launch party with Carrie and Jen.
Awesome. And Ray DePaul, please, if you don't know Ray, you need to know Ray. I was part of Startup Calgary because I think Ray sucked me in. Thanks, buddy. And I was actually part of an organization called Accelerator YYC. And I think there was some stuff going on, and I think we sort of brought everybody together with the help of Pat Lohr at the time. But I want to read you something. I went back into the archives, much to everybody's chagrin, and I was trying to understand what was Startup Calgary back in 2010, and when I joined as an advisory board member. And I'm going to read to you the description and the mission of Startup Calgary in 2010, more than 15 years ago. And when I just read it to this crew, their eyes sort of lit up, and they were excited to talk a little bit more about it. So let me read it. Founded in 2010, Startup Calgary is an entrepreneur-led, volunteer-driven, grassroots, not-for-profit movement with the mission to activate startups, connect founders, and grow our local tech ecosystem. I just got goosebumps. Startup Calgary is not an incubator, nor an accelerator, nor a co-working space. We're a movement driven by entrepreneurship in the city of Calgary. We do this by partnering with the best resources both in and out of Calgary to run fantastic events and programs and to connect startups with everything they need to succeed. Think of Startup Calgary as the glue that binds the community together, interfacing with various support groups such as Innovate Calgary, Assembly, the A100, Chic Geek, Canadian Cloud Council, etc. Startup Calgary is also an official community of Startup Canada and Up Global. Each year, ready for this? Startup Calgary, volunteer-driven organization, runs over 90 events and programs to support our mission. Weekly, hack nights, Startup of the Week in the Calgary Herald, monthly. Who reads Calgary Herald anymore? Okay. Did you just put your hand up?
Get the Saturday version.
Saturdays, I love it. Okay, monthly, Startup Grind, Mobile Mondays, Startup Drinks. Oh, Startup Drinks were so fun. Okay, quarterly, Startup Weekend, the next pre-accelerator, Speed Dating, Demo Camp, annually, Launch Party, Thursday, if you don't have your tickets, get them now, and Bar Camp. And so that just gives you a sense of the organization that was 15 years ago in Calgary trying to move the mission forward. I think it's important to acknowledge that that vision and mission was actually set out by some entrepreneurs in our local ecosystem. In particular, those entrepreneurs were Hasham Al-Sarat, Corey Alsino, Peter Bokoff, and it was supported by great folks at the time like Ray DePaul and Evan Hugh, and we had Accelerate YYC. I mean, it was just a different time, and we actually had some good friends at Osler. Frank Turner, I think, if you recall, he helped us do a bunch of stuff, and so I had the great privilege of eventually joining through Ray Startup Calgary and became the board chair, and we'll talk a little bit about our history and our evolution, but maybe let's first go to Jen, because I think you might have been the first volunteer sitting on this panel that helped shape the organization. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I moved to Calgary 2012 from Saskatchewan, woo, and within like 10 days I had a few job offers, but it was because the Calgary community was so connected. I had gone to Accelerate Alberta, which was our annual conference at the time that Startup Calgary, Startup Edmonton, I believe, and the A100 had started putting together, and I said, wow, Calgary has this amazing, robust tech ecosystem. I have to move there without a job. So without a job, without a family at that time, time was my currency, and so I spent every single night almost at all of these different meetups. I'd hang out with the tech developers. I'd go to Ladies Learning Code, which was a great way to figure out how to update websites at the time, and then I just got immersed with this energy and this passion for startups here in Calgary. My first job was running Accelerator YYC, this pretty scrappy looking co-working space in Inglewood where you paid $300, you got a desk, but that's really where things happened, and a lot of our office work and our event planning, it all happened in coffee shops. So you either went to Higher Ground in Kensington or you were at Gravity or Rosso in Inglewood, so it was truly a passion at that time.
Scrappy. Andrew, you were next.
Yeah, my journey was a bit different. I was also a student at the time and an entrepreneur running a painting franchise, home services businesses, and knew that I wanted to build businesses, but was actually just drawn into the tech ecosystem, which I didn't even know what it meant at the time, through Ray, who said, hey, they're looking for someone part-time that can,
Common
build
thread.
community. Yeah, build community, and that sounded fun to me, so I jumped in right around the time that Jen did, when Jen was at Accelerator YYC, and basically was a glorified event planner. It was like 90 events a year, and so I was busy every night of the week, but I had the energy to really lean into that and to focus on what I was hoping to get out of the opportunity, which was to meet a lot of people, to learn from people building these types of companies, and learn some skills along the way, and to figure out what I wanted to do next on my entrepreneurial journey. And so that's kind of what drew me in.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and then Carrie Gordon, you enter the scene as our first, 2015, we hired you as our very first sort of full-time professional executive director.
Yes, Ray DePaul called me. And yes,
I
Ray.
think we should celebrate Ray. Let's just actually celebrate Ray right now.
I come from a sport background. I was looking to get out of sport. Alice had suggested I apply for this job. I went through the interview process, and truly it was Ray who called and offered me the job. And I remember thinking, I'm sure he's called the wrong person. I come from sport. I knew nothing about the tech ecosystem. And I came in, and it was, as Jen and Andrew have just said, it was entirely just so welcoming and opening. I spent 6 months going to meetings, not knowing necessarily what everybody was talking about, but went home and Googled a whole bunch of terms, which was fantastic. And from there, I met incredible people. We put together a team, and we just continued to grow, and I haven't looked back, and I'm very appreciative of those years.
Danielle.
Yeah, I was a student in 2015, like I mentioned, going to the University of Calgary, and I ended up getting matched with Jen on a basically dating app, but for small businesses and students.
I think they were a launch party company too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, that was how we met.
Okay, wait, what? So it was a launch
Rocket
party
Ship.
company. What was it called?
It's called Rocket Ship. It didn't last.
Well, that's
but
okay.
it was amazing. I was like, let's test this out, and so it matched us. And then we were like, let's keep this going. So yeah.
Yeah, basically I got enticed by being able to write blog posts for old launch party companies, and got drawn in actually by writing a blog post about skip the dishes. That was the hook. So that was really how it started. Just showed up to the first launch party, also became a glorified event planner, and eventually an actual event planner very quickly. And really from there, we were basically working for multiple different organizations at the time through Jen's company, and that was really how it all started.
And so, Carrie, you were part of Startup Calgary. We were, there wasn't a lot of, sustainable programming. But share with us, we'll talk about, kind of the working with Calgary Economic Development, and then, as Jen talked about, and then moving in here into Platform. But give us a bit of an overview of a couple years of what you had to do in order to lead this organization.
Very much the entrepreneurial journey. We really had to get out, pitch an event, be it a single event or weekly events, try to gather some money, hope that we could keep the doors open for another 6 weeks, another 6 months. And we just continued to drive that way, and we all were very passionate about it. We'd scrape enough money together to either hire a contract for Danielle for another 6 weeks or another 6 months, whatever that may be. And we just continued to gain the traction and truly reputation within the community that we could get things done. We were a very small team, but honestly, give us 2 nickels and we could make $50 pretty quick. And we really showed up for our entrepreneurs. We were founder first, and that was what drove us from the beginning. And our board, and at the time, Alice, Ray, a number of other people in the audience were on our board, and it was about the founders. If we showed up for our founders, we could gain the momentum that was needed, that really empowered us forward, continuing to feed that community.
And Andrew and Jen, I mean, we, as Carrie said, we didn't necessarily have the cash. So how did you, why did you volunteer? I mean, there is a bazillion things you could do every day, right? What did you get out of the community that you gave so much to during those years? Jen, you first.
Still thinking.
Okay, I can give it to Andrew.
It became my friendship group and my social life, and it was pretty amazing. And yeah, when we had no money, we would beg for prizes for launch party for the very first one. And I don't know if Sean Abbott is still offering the helicopter ride. Can anyone confirm that? That was a pretty cool prize that you can't put money on. That was just fantastic. So those early days, yeah, it was really about hanging out at the coffee shop and just meeting and starting to connect the dots. I admitted we used a matchmaking app for Danielle and I, but we became the matchmakers where you could start figuring out who should talk to who. And that sense of just helping folks connect, it really fulfilled me. I was very extroverted. And
I actually see my friend Darcy in the room here, and you were telling a story about that up in the green room here, and we were talking
Yeah.
about
So yeah,
when they were
Darcy-
early days. That would have been like super early days, like 2016, I think,
I
probably,
think that was
right?
2016 at the Red and White
2016.
Club. We were going
Yep.
with a new venue. The lights were going on and off. No one could hear. Alice won an award that night. I went home and cried because that was a terrible event. But it was all powered. I think we had 20, 25 volunteers that we had sourced through the university. Like everyone showed up. The technology was not on our side, but just the fact that you're sitting here today and then contributing back to the ecosystem, like that fills my heart and makes it so worth it. All those days, all those hours that we put in when we weren't really asking for anything in return. I mean, we'd ask for pizza money and like, could you bring some beer?
Pizza
Village
money.
beer was the go-to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of begging for pizza and stuff. I think for me, what really excited me and kept drawing me in and giving me energy to kind of give back to building community around all of this was seeing companies like Zayzoon and others that were just an idea at the time. A couple people working on something that in their vision was big, but no one else could see how big it could be at that time. And then seeing those companies go through all the ups and downs that they have to go through to get to recognition and scale, and playing any kind of role in that, I think was really what drew me into keeping going. And so you'd kind of see that in glimpses, and at first it was like pushing a rock uphill. Like it was a lot of work just to get some kind of recognition for the top 10 companies in Calgary, and from anyone, even the Calgary Herald or local media. But then you saw some of those companies start to make strides and to get that kind of recognition, and to all of a sudden announce big funding rounds or big partnerships, or the ability to hire people that were now looking into Calgary and into Alberta to come and be a part of the ecosystem here. Really, really inspiring stuff, and that kept you going.
It's pretty awesome to sit in this room today, isn't it? We're looking around. Carrie, we weren't able, though, to sustainably fund Startup Calgary. So we went to Calgary Economic Development, and we actually built a strategy around how Startup Calgary could participate, and the role of Calgary Economic Development inside of the role of Startup Calgary, inside of Calgary Economic Development. Do you maybe want to speak about that?
I think at the time, you as a board used to seeing us be scrappy, but it was tiresome and it burns people out. And so I think, the board's work to position us and really allow us to have some sort of foundational strength. And so positioning us into CED, Mary Moran took a chance on us. At the time she was the CEO, and she brought us in. And what that allowed us to do is we had the financial stability. We became employees. As crazy as it sounds, we had benefits for the first time. Those things that as a startup founder, as an entrepreneur, you think about, oh, those are the days. And CED gave us our own personal safety net, but it also anchored the organization and allowed us to build. We had all of a sudden money that we didn't have to beg so much, and we could put that towards our programming. So Business Model Canvas 101, Andrew, we decided as a group we wanted to do this. Andrew was like, okay, I'll pilot something, we'll see how it goes. So all of a sudden we could take our energies, and rather than knocking on the doors and begging for pizza or dollars, we could put that towards programming. And we were really able to be responsive to the community and the entrepreneurial needs. Business Model Canvas 101 was something that was needed. And as that evolved, we were able to respond to the community's needs, and it became more value proposition 101. And then we just continued to build and iterate. So we were able to focus on our programming, which was about the community. And it didn't happen if we hadn't had that financial stability of CED. We had an office. As crazy as it sounds, and this is old school, but we had a photocopier, right? Yeah, like those were things that we were always trying to figure out, how do we get a list of this or that or whatever.
Ooh, and I would say it finally legitimized us so that we could start putting Calgary on the map. So we started taking delegations of companies to think beyond Alberta, beyond Calgary, to go to Startup Fest Montreal, and to think about Collision in Toronto. So that was really part of our initial strategy that we never would have been able to do. It was just a volunteer group.
And Danielle, those are collision shoes, I understand?
Yes, they are, yeah.
What's the story behind the kicks?
Well, the story behind the kicks is that we were doing one of our biggest, I think, activations that Calgary Economic Development had done at the Collision Conference. So really that was our opportunity. We had a huge booth in the middle of the conference floor. We brought like tons of companies to showcase with us. We got a nice little, speaking of a little extra budget, some money to buy outfits that really helped us represent Calgary. So.
And we were told we had to have red shoes, so Danielle and I went and bought Vans.
Nice.
Those ones.
Danielle, Innovation Week was the brainchild out of Startup Calgary at the time. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about Innovation Week, because we're in Innovation Week now. There is so much going on this week. It's mind-blowing. So tell us about Innovation Week.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking of going and checking out events like Collision and Startup Fest, we also had gone up to Edmonton to experience what they were doing as well. And they had Startup Week, which was under the Techstars brand, similar to Techstars Startup Weekend.
I think Ken Batista's in here. We were
Really?
envious of Ken.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ken's
hey, Ken.
here. Hi, Ken. We were jealous. That's what they're about to tell you. They were jealous of the community you built up there, my friend.
Yeah, so we were jealous. They'd been grandfathered in under the Techstars brand, and we didn't have the money to do it based on the rates. So speaking of scrappy, we just decided that we were going to create something on our own, which we called Innovation Week. And that first one was in 2018. And you know, there were some really interesting ways that Calgary Economic Development had showed up to support us. That same year, we actually, speaking of having a really hard time getting coverage in the Calgary Herald, we hosted a media tour. So we brought in writers from BetaKit, from the Daily Hive, to come and actually look at what was happening in Calgary. And you know, for the first time, we were mentioned in BetaKit, and like that was a huge, huge win. And I think they've been back, as far as I know, almost every year since. So
awesome. So Carrie, as we think about Startup Calgary, and you know, it's now part of this larger, bigger ecosystem. Talk to us about sort of how, you know, how you see it today, and it contributing in the ecosystem.
So I think you mentioned that somewhere in the original vision was Startup Calgary being the glue. And I think that was really our opportunity, and I think that's what the tech ecosystem continues to do. Where it used to be Startup Calgary and a group of volunteers, I think the glue has just continued to carry through and permeate throughout the community. And so if you are participating in an event under the tech ecosystem, whether you go to one event or 100 events, you are the glue. And I think that's what we were able to start with Startup Calgary, was this idea that we could come together as a community, we could inspire one another, we could connect one another, and we could help grow. And I think it started that in 2010. We were able to continue that on, and it was an extreme privilege. And then to see it what it is now is truly, I mean, it's just phenomenal.
So Jen, you were part of the ecosystem. Then you went back into companies. Now you're back. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I don't recognize a lot of the faces in this room, which was pretty cool to see all these folks. I've met several people who've just moved to Calgary, so I just feel like I'm coming in a full circle moment of wanting to engage with folks again. I worked at a B2B tech company based in Vancouver. I've always lived here, but I've always been championing what the amazing quality of life here is in Calgary, and that how you can actually build things here. So I've been recruiting all those old Vancouver colleagues to come here, but yeah. I don't know where I was going.
And so when you left, you went back into company, now you've come back. Does it feel different?
It does feel different. I feel like I don't know anyone anymore. So I'm doing the same thing I did back in the day. I'm reaching out to folks, having more coffees, trying to do more listening.
Awesome.
I found a great place on campus again with Ray. He hired me to help build the scale-up community, which is fascinating because it's almost building back to those early days of building the startup community. How do you create that movement?
Awesome.
How do you start supporting the scale-up companies who have very different needs now that they're more established? So.
And then, Andrew, you went into Thin Air Labs, co-founder of Thin Air Labs, venture builder, VC, so always stayed sort of connected to the ecosystem. But talk a little bit about kind of that Startup Calgary, Thin Air Labs connection and how you see it now.
Yeah, so I mean, Startup Calgary was really my foray into wanting to build a company like that, like a startup. I didn't even know what it was at the time, but a startup that hopefully becomes a scale up and raise money and, you know, do all the venture stuff. I went through that process. I raised money. I went through this Creative Destruction Lab program and a bunch of others, and learned a ton as I did that. And what I was looking for in Thin Air with James and the early team at Thin Air was, you know, building a firm that I was missing for that company, that I didn't have access to or the ability to work with, that would back me early, that would surround me with the kind of resources that I would have needed for my next company. And so that was 5 or 6 years ago. And then I just kind of kept going. We raised a fund, we worked with hundreds of companies, we did some amazing work there, and then I kind of stepped back a little bit earlier this year and kind of, you know, was missing something from the work that I was doing that I'm rediscovering now, which is probably to get back into
the community.
Yeah, well, some community work, but also building companies. I think that for me, it was really about wanting to build amazing companies and attract amazing people and create amazing outcomes for the people that work with you. So it's really the founders that I get to work with that are in this room today that inspire me from that perspective, and you know, some entrepreneurial drive that I can't seem to get rid of.
So I'm going to ask one final question, Andrew, because you were just talking, and this kind of tags into it. So what's the one thing that really, how your work with Startup Calgary and in the community really shaped what you're doing today? Like, what's that one thing? And then Danielle, you're next.
Yeah, I think it's really it's changed a little bit over the years. So in the early stages, it was just what are the dynamics of these companies? How do they work? How do they function? What are the cadence of them? What are the things I should focus on in the early days versus the next days? I think I was looking to learn from people that were further along than I was, and could you know, have been there, done that kind of thing. I think now I've learned a bunch of skills. I've kind of jumped in and worked directly in a bunch of these companies in different capacities, and I want to apply that in different ways into maybe my own companies or with other companies that I can do a little bit more kind of inch wide, mile deep type of work.
And it all started volunteering, quote unquote. Danielle.
It all starts with Ray DePaul.
It all starts, yeah.
Ray also fired me at one point too, so it does come full circle. Made room for Carrie, and it all worked out. But yeah, all good.
Danielle, how did the work that you did at Startup Calgary shape what you're doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was that there was just never a shortage of things that could be done. I mean, I think within all of my different roles throughout the years, like, I was constantly clawing my way to stay as part of the community. Like, I think, you know, things we didn't talk about, like Jen had to wind down her company to join Startup Calgary full time because that was just like an opportunity that you can't refuse, and I, you know, had clawed my way back in later. And, you know, later on, I found that we just kept seeing so much momentum and so many great signs. I remember, you know, running Launch Party in 2019, and I think we'd hit like peak attendance with like 1,200 people, and we'd run a career fair for the first time and just done all of these things, and I'm like, there's just so much more to be done.
Just scratching the surface, hey? Jen, what about you?
I think it's given me my scrappiness. So working in private sector, I can see all the jobs to be done. Like Startup Calgary, you heard we had to wear many hats. We had to be selling, we had to be recruiting, we had to be event planning. We were thinking of every single attendee experience. We were serving customers. So all of those pieces, I bring all of that energy and scrappiness. And sometimes when I see these marketing budgets for actual companies, I'm like, what? We could do this on half of that. And so, yeah, I need to level set sometimes that I've grown up and I have benefits. Actually, not right now, but you know, I'm in a stage. I did have benefits.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'm scrappy right now, okay?
Back to scrappy. Carrie.
I would say curiosity. Curiosity for what you all are building, curiosity for the problem that you're solving. You know, it really started for all of us, which was being about the entrepreneur, and so we had to be curious. And so where it has my curiosity for what the heck am I doing in Startup Calgary, I don't know anything about this ecosystem, to holy mackerel, you're building that's really cool, tell me more about the problem. And so it's just kept me more curious and interested in what people are building every day in this city.
Sort of feels like the once you're in, you can't get out thing. I think there's a song or something about that. But anyways, please join me in a round of applause for the original, some of the original crew of Startup Calgary. And back to you, Jen.
Thank you so much. It's so good to hear the origin story of Startup Calgary. And a personal connection, when I was in a startup, I was back in 2015 in Montreal and in the delegations, and just know we carry forward the mission that founder first, building community. So we take that so seriously here at Platform, and so thank you so much. And I think I'm supposed to do one quick rapid fire from the OGs to our top 10s, go down the line, and if you've got one little bit of advice you'd like to give to our top 10 startups, let's go for it.
Oh, not me. I'm gonna start.
Okay. I'd say talk to your customers early and often.
I would say understand their pain deeply, so that you feel that pain.
I would say find the right people to work with.
I think, you know, if I think about the future of the ecosystem, it's like shorten the gap between mentor and mentee. Learn, turn around, teach it to someone else, go other places, come back, teach your peers and other founders, and build an amazing company, create amazing outcomes, and let's make sure that the flywheel keeps going, like build on the momentum that we've already had, and if you can and want to, build the company here.
Nice finish. Thank you all.
Thank you for that great advice and for starting the Founder First ideal, which myself and the other entrepreneurs in the room have definitely benefited from. But I am told our judges are back, so it's time for the awards presentation. First up is the Alumni Award presented by Mount Royal University's Institute for Entrepreneurship.
Hello. That was humbling. I'm Ray. I expected to have to introduce myself. So I think if there was a message that I took from that is look at a way to give to the community before you start asking from the community. And I was lucky enough to have done that as soon as I landed here, and it's paid me back in spades. So I figured the best person to present an alumni award is an alumni. So I want to introduce you to Derek Rookie, who won this award in 2014 and has since built an amazing company called Inspired Go. Some of you might be customers of it. And frankly, has given me so much joy being a mentor to him for over a decade. So over to you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ray.
I'm going to stand in front of
I just have a super quick launch party story that I wanted to share because it's kind of gone unknown and it's too cool not to share. So we pitched in 2014, standing on the stage, and we won the Community Choice Award because we brought all our friends to the event. And we got off the stage, and Chris Reed, it's kind of cool because they're sponsoring an award here too with Neo. He walked up to us and said, "Hey, I'm actually giving you 1.5 Bitcoins as your prize here." And it was worth $500 at the time. And I remember we went home and immediately tried to cash it in because we needed the $500. And we couldn't figure it out. So we were like, this is the worst prize ever, we can't. And we just completely forgot about it. And a bunch of years go by, the startup hits kind of tough times. And you know, that Bitcoin kind of saved us. You know, when we needed the money, it paid a bunch of bills. And I think that's, so I think that's what this event's really all about, at least for me, is it's an opportunity to manufacture a little bit of luck, because that happened for us. So without further ado, who do we got?
The winner of the Alumni Award is Tarka.
Right over here. Okay. Raise the man. All right. Big smiles right here. Nicely done.
Congratulations, Tarka. Next up is the Sponsor's Choice Award presented by Blackline Safety.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edozi, Senior Manager at Blackline Safety, and my colleague is
Carrie Pierce.
Okay, we're here to present the Sponsors Choice Award. Blackline Safety is a super innovative company, and we thrive a lot on innovation with over 600 employees, and we're a software manufacturing company that produces gas monitoring devices for oil and gas companies and lone workers. So it's a really great privilege to give the Sponsor Choice Award, and I'll have my colleague open and say who the winner is.
And the winner is, if I can get this open, Day Photonics.
Congratulations, Jonathan. The third award is the Alex Rosenko Pitch Award, as presented by Zayzoon.
You guys can hear me? All right, I have 1 minute. But I do want to share, it was 2016, Red and White Club. The lights may or may not have been working, according to Daniel, but it was Zayzoon. We were 5 employees. We had a dream. It was audacious. In the back of my mind, there was tons of doubt. But I do want to fast forward to today, and a huge, because of so much of the community, we are now a company that's raised over $70 million with revenue in excess of that, which is important as well, employing more than 200 employees, 200 Zayzooners. So just keep dreaming, be resourceful, be relentless. But this is an important award on behalf of Alex Rosenko. So Alex was a big person in the community, showed up for entrepreneurs where they are, mentored them, helped them refine their pitches. So that's absolutely huge. So thank you to everybody in the community. I've brought my son, Griffin. He's at Western, and I'm praying he won't get a job in Toronto. So I want him to see what Calgary has to offer, because we all have to do our part. So everybody continue to lean in and believe. The winner is...
The winner is Possibility Neurotechnologies.
Congratulations, Possibility Neurotechnologies. Our fourth award is the Community Choice Award, presented by NEO.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Fahad, and I'm from NEO. Unlike my colleagues, Chris Reed and others, I'm not giving out any Bitcoin this evening, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a great honor to be presenting this award for the Community Choice winner. NEO Financial, for those of you that don't know, is a scale-up here based out of Calgary. Started about 6 years ago, just across the street in the public library, and then through the support of this community and the ecosystem here, We're now 6 years in and over $200 million in annual revenue. And I don't think we're some crazy anomaly. I think there's a lot of great entrepreneurial and technology spirit here in the city. And there's going to be other companies that are going to have similar or even better successes than what we've had. So it's my honor to share today's Community Choice winner. Tutored.
Congratulations, Tutored. And it really takes a village to start a business. So as we're mingling later tonight, I'd like all of you, when you're talking to the founders, to think, is there a contact you could introduce them to, an investor, a customer, and really do your part to make Calgary the best place in the world to start a business. So with that, I'd like to invite everyone over to the west side to enjoy some refreshments and get to know each other.